you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's play together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Renaissance. Please stand and join the song. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound if we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound if we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
I didn't even need my caffeine this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome to Unity Renaissance, everyone. Those of you who are seated here today in our sanctuary, and for those of you watching online today, my name is Christopher Naughton. I'm president of your board of trustees. I'll be sharing the dais with that young Boyd Black today, who will be our platform host. Ron Chapman is in the house today. He's returning. There you go. We must like Ron. We keep asking him back again and again. It's only been a couple of years since before COVID that he was here. He will be talking about manna from heaven today. And then also he's got a workshop a little bit later about discovering your infinite supply. There it is. Good to have you back, Ron. Good to have everyone here today. Let's go ahead and do what we normally do. Since Reverend Paula is on sabbatical, I'll try to guide us through this service today. Richard will help out where necessary. And what we'd like to do is say our mission statement and our vision statement. Let's start with our vision statement first, together if you will. A spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And our mission statement, we transform lives that transform the world. And let's just get centered for a moment. Let's leave behind whatever we had going earlier in this day, whatever brought us here today. We bring our presence to the moment. We know that by being fully present in listening, in interacting, in being, that we truly plug into the collective known as Unity Renaissance. We bring our full spirit into presence today, knowing that what we need to hear, what we need to share, and what we need to be shall show itself to us, and all is well.
Y'all are in the right place at the right time this morning. Let's stand up and sing it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, let's say it.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Woo. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Service. And it's that time in our service where we greet each other with a bow. So together, the divine in you greets the divine in you. And we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
Place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and
Doing this up here is a lot more strenuous than you would think. Give me a second. All right, well, I got to tell you, I had a bit of a rough week, an even rougher weekend, emotionally and personally, and I really actually was feeling so bad I didn't want to come to church. I didn't want to come. I know, right? So I get here, and the word for the day is gratitude. Right, kismet, right? So it brought it all back. Please join with me in the affirmation. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. Yeah, it is. What joy it is to feel gratitude rising from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel grateful. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation. The blessing, amen, you got it. The blessing that can come from any adversity and the presence of God in every aspect of my life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and opens my heart to receive even more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. Our scripture verse today is from Psalm chapter 95, verse 2. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. We have many options available for prayer support. We've got a lot of them. First, in front of the chapel, which is right through these the left doors, right past the bookstore, you can fill out a prayer request form. You can go online to unityrenaissance.org and also fill out a prayer request form. You can call Silent Unity. They're open 24/7 for you. Their number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY, or if you really don't like words, it's 1-800-669-7729. And, guys, I saved the best for last because we have an incredible group of family members here who give of their time and their energy to support us whenever we need them. Those are our prayer chaplains. Would our prayer chaplains please stand? You can recognize them by their beautiful burgundy stoles, and they will be waiting for you in the chapel, right through the left doors, right past the bookstore after the service, and they will help you celebrate, and they will help you through sorrow or anything you need. Now, would everyone please join with them in standing for the Lord's Psalm?
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's home.
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For all the kingdom, power, and praise with you began and with you stays. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated.
Yes. Beautiful.
Of all the many names for God, there are quite a few. Some as old as time itself, and some seem rather new. I've got a favorite, maybe you do too. Mine is out of the blue. Out of the blue, out of the blue. It all worked out and everything came through. Songs were sung and deals were done and time, well, it just flew. And it all came from out of the blue. At times I feel so full of doubt and don't know where I fit. Tired and my mind keeps saying it might be time to quit. Then just when I get quiet, 'cause that something tells me to, hope comes from out of the blue. Out of the blue, out of the blue, where everything's created old and new. I'll have the best idea and I'll know what to do. It all came from out of the blue.
Scott. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you, Lily. Amen, indeed. And I was talking to Dave this week about just how tight the band has been. You guys have just done a remarkable job. You keep getting better and better. And we all feel it. I mean, we all feel it. It raises the energy here each and every Sunday. So thank you, one and all. Well, it's been over 2 years since we've had Ron Chapman here. COVID got in the way, but we always love having him here. Ron's got a very an incredible background. He is a master speaker, coach, facilitator. He's got clients all over the world, including the CDC. You got to live up to this one, Ron. He's one of the 81 top Toastmaster accredited speakers in the world. Maybe that's one of the reasons we bring him back, but also because he's delved so deeply into dedicating himself to recovery, forgiveness. As a matter of fact, he formed the Seeing True and Progressive Recovery Network. His latest book, or his newest book, is Progressive Recovery Through the 12 Steps, an Emotionally Sober for Life. And his upcoming book is The Dark Side of Grace. You don't want to miss his 1 p.m. Seminar gathering today, which is Discovering Your Infinite Supply. Please welcome to the stage, Ron Chapman.
I'm deeply moved and echoing to be here. We got me? Okay. All right. All the way out into Zoom land. I'm actually deeply moved. I was sitting here thinking about it, and some of the welcoming greetings from a lot of you are just, I told Reverend Paula a long time ago that I don't really have many places I feel like I fit, and this is one of those very few. And so there are reasons for that, some of which you're going to hear. But officially, this is Manna from Heaven. We might call it Let's Talk About Unlimited Supply, but its subtitle is What I Did During the Pandemic. Kind of like a summer report, right? So I had this plan. Now, you all are supposed to laugh because we all know we have plans and then something happens. Well, I had a plan. I was going on spiritual pilgrimage to Iona, Scotland for 2 weeks. And I was going with a collection of mystics and Jungian philosophers, and it was quite an interesting crew. And somebody decided in the presence of COVID that taking 50 or 60 people on buses to an island that had no medical facilities in the middle of COVID was probably a really bad idea. And I didn't disagree, so I said, okay, we're not going to do that. And then out of the blue, Lily, out of the blue, I thought, I think I need to do an inner pilgrimage. I heard that, yeah. And what was going to be a 2-week inner pilgrimage ended up being approximately 610 days. And I was telling Christopher, you can hear the break in my voice, it proved to be the most fruitful spiritual time of my entire life in the COVID. COVID is holy ground. Come around to that. When I told Reverend Paula that I was honored to be asked again to come to this home away from home of mine, my longtime mentor and sponsor in recovery said, yeah, Ron, you're a guy, the world is your home and you got a bed in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like, well, that explains my world. But I said, well, good, Reverend Paula, because now I'm going to get a chance for the very first time to tell you what happened to me during the pandemic. So I'm sitting there planning to study Carl Jung, the great psychologist. And one morning, I don't remember which morning, I could go back. I kept a journal of all of this because someday I'll figure out something to do with this. So one morning, all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in the stillness, which is my favorite place in the world these days, stillness, which, by the way, isn't about meditation. It's about an inner state that goes with us everywhere if we can nurture it enough. So I'm sitting in the stillness, I've been reading this, and then I get gobsmacked, which I love that word, gobsmacked, right? Bam! And what shows up is this, oh my God. When Jung spoke of the collective unconscious that is available to us all, it was the same thing Jesus meant when he said, the kingdom of heaven is within you, which is the same thing that the epigeneticists are discovering, that literally the history of creation is in our genes. That's going to get some scientists pushing back on me. They go, oh no, we're not there yet. But that's okay. I hang out with those people too. It's the same thing that Abraham Maslow talked about when he said, from a humanist point of view, that we are boundless, self with a capital S. And I thought, oh my God, Christian and I were talking about this. All the wise ones, the wise mystics, they're all telling the same story. They're all telling the same story. But we have a hard time hearing that. So I thought, okay, that's good. I got my pilgrimage goodies. And then it's like, no, you got more work to do. So I stayed in the pilgrimage, and sometime later, probably a week or so, I was sitting there drinking coffee, which is a meditation form for me. And what fell upon me was an awareness that the Lord's Prayer, which Richard just cited, is actually an affirmation. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Here it is, on earth as it is in heaven. That is not a prayer for the world to be altered. It is a prayer for our experience and sight to be altered so that we can see that this is already heaven on earth and always has been and always will be. Amen. Yeah. And I go, oh. I was gobsmacked again. Literally, it stopped me. It's like, oh my God, everybody around the world is praying this prayer to change the world, when in fact it's an affirmation, an affirmative prayer that says, no, reveal to me the nature of heaven on earth. It is already here, already now, already present. Nothing need be altered for me to experience heaven on earth, because it's an experience. There's a renegade Buddhist guy who says enlightenment doesn't come through thought or words or action. It comes through beingness, through experience. So heaven on earth is experience, it doesn't change this stuff, it transforms it. Which I'll say a little bit about what Jung said about that. So I'm like, all right, I'm all in. I don't know this is going to go 610 days, but I am all in on the pilgrimage now, because this is clearly where I need to be. Because what that would mean is that everything your heart, your soul desires is the last place you want to go for it. It's not in a relationship, it's not in a nicer car, not actually in the right community, although this is a great place to practice it. It's in there. All of it. The entirety of heaven exists in us. It is our beingness. And yet we've fallen asleep, right? We go around, this is what happens to us. We go around and we look for evidence that in fact we're living in a fallen world. We've been taught that. We look for it. I was just, and when I got into the airport, I happened to be sitting next to someone having a cup of coffee, another meditation, talking meditation, and he started explaining to me all the crime in this area. And all the while that he's talking about crime, I'm affirming in myself that it is not so. That it is not so. That it is not so. At the end, I said, thank you very much. I really appreciate your care and concern. And I moved on. So we're cycling for that. We're convinced that we're living in a fallen world. We're convinced that it's filled with bad and evil. And God knows our social media feeds reaffirm that over and over and over again. Despite the fact that if you do the research, you find out that 99.8% of 8 billion people have no ill will towards any of us all the time. They're just trying to keep a roof over their head, feed their families, take care of their lives. They're living their lives as best they're able. But we have the experience, we just don't know we have the experience. And I feel like I need to translate this for you. I thought, what would be an appropriate example here? And I thought, well, I think a really cool one for some of you would be to talk about what happens to you when you're out on the beach, minding your own business, and suddenly you see dolphins breaking waves. Because I know what happens, because it happens to me too. It's like, I'm transported to the moment, everything falls away, heaven on earth is revealed as dolphins surfacing in the waves, And it may last for long moments, right? And then we're going to look down, we're going to look at the beach and go, God, there's some trash there. Whoosh, there we go again. We have that. If you've ever seen a child born coming out of their mother's body, the best word to describe it is a kind of awe that descends upon us that apparently sticks for a while, and then we forget because the baby cries and off we go. Or standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, or in the Sequoias, or in Acadia National, pick a spot, right? I had the experience flying, because I pay a lot of attention to this now when I was flying in. There was a moment when the sun lit Chesapeake Bay as we were looping in. I mean, there's the feeling. The feeling for me shows up right here. I used to think it was joy. It's oneness. And it brings tears to my eyes, just like it just did. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God, there it is. How could I ever forget this? And then a good friend of mine says, well, you know, Jesus even forgot when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, so maybe forgetting is part of the gig. Oh, of course, me too. Here's the interesting part. I was thinking about how to really translate this because we're still prone to looking for bad in the world. And I remember a moment a couple years ago when I got rear-ended, a pretty bad crash. Actually, I was driving a car that was really well protected, so I came out unscathed. But as best I can recall, for about 7 minutes, in the middle of carnage, because it literally blew the back end of my car apart, cars careening out of control, and I am there, and I am one with the universe. I'm not traumatized. I don't know what I am, but I am utterly totally in the present moment. The power of now, Eckhart Tolle would call it. And there is no wrong in the world despite the mayhem I'm setting right in the middle of. I am captivated by this moment. And it reminds me of the moment when I was watching the World Trade Centers come down. And there were, and still happens when I go back and watch those reels, it is absolutely captivatingly presencing, centering in this moment, nothing else in the world to think about. Until the translator kicks in and says, yeah, but they killed 3,000 people and collapsed 2 big buildings and some other ones, and the story starts up. The reason that's so important, because if the renegade Buddhists are right, that enlightenment, we might call it, is an experience, then it's the moment with the dolphins and the moment in the middle of the crash, which is the revelation of heaven on earth, which I constantly forget about and slide back into the world. You know the experience, you just don't know that you know the experience. You just don't know that those are revealing heaven on earth. So you say, well, what are we going to do with that? Well, I'm going to tell you a funny story. When I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico a number of years ago, I had to take a bus one day, and I had to walk into downtown Albuquerque. And I'm trucking along with my backpack. I do a lot of urban trekking, so I'm just rocking down this asphalt road with 2 concrete sidewalks lined by concrete block walls covered in brown stucco, right? Very typical southwestern scene. The day before, I'd been out in the Sandia Mountains, and I'd found a grotto that I don't know if anybody had ever found, and it literally was holy ground, right? I had that moment. It's like, oh, here it is. Well, I'm walking down Lead Avenue, which is right through the middle of downtown Albuquerque, and suddenly the asphalt, the sidewalks, and the walls light up with the same aura that I had seen in the grotto in the mountains. And I said to myself, it stopped me in my tracks. I stopped, and I go, oh my God. Even the asphalt is holy ground. I heard this in the song this morning. Even the asphalt is holy ground. It lit up from within with an ethereal light. Oh my God, so when they said to Moses, when the voice said to Moses, the ground upon which you stand is holy, that was an affirmation, and it's always true. The ground upon which you stand and or sit right now is holy ground. I can't remember who said this. There's nothing but holy ground. What's missing is our ability to tune into it. Human conditioning, limiting beliefs, we might like to call it. And so you say, well, what do you do with that? Because the really wise ones say it's not like you can go around and boink yourself on the head with the magic wand and be struck into awareness. Most of us have to do the dirty work. The dirty work is where we have to look at the stuff that collapses us. You know what I'm talking about. It's easy to conjure it up here. Imagine potential nuclear catastrophe in Ukraine. That'll flatten you. So, how can that be holy ground? That's the work. Think of your favorite politician you love to hate. I know you all are above hate, except I also know that you're politicians you love to hate, because you get that too. It doesn't fit with the framework, but by golly, that's what we do. Because we drop on our newsreels, and that stuff floods in, and we go like, "Argh! Argh!" I won't say I hate him, but that's really what it is, which is why, of course, Jesus did say something about it profiteth us nothing to pray for our friends. Ouch. I was talking to someone yesterday who will get a good chuckle out of this, who had an encounter in a retail store where she had an experience and she had to work really hard to not collapse into judgment, criticism, and condemnation. That's the work. But we think, this is called spiritual bypassing, that the work is we're going to all sit around in an ethereal glow, we're going to chant and sing beautiful songs, and we're going to all be holy. And then we're going to go out that door, we're going to turn left, and within about 10 blocks, something's going to happen, and we're going to forget our holiness pretty quickly. Usually not followed by, God bless you for cutting me off. So this is where my recovery work, and this is where the shadow work Jung talked so much about. This is where we must go if we are to experience heaven on earth. We have to go look at the ugly, the dirty, the challenging, the difficult, the incomprehensible. And what Jung said, in order to get a transcendent result, it looks like this. You have to sit in the tension, and you have to be with the discomfort and the disquiet and the nonsensical that you're trying to make sense of, and you have to wrestle with the angel of the Lord right there beside whatever river you're sitting beside. That's a great story from the Old Testament. Wrestling with the angel of the Lord, Jacob, he eventually gets smoked, which means disjointed. Think about that. I'm just wrestling with the angel and you disjointed me. And then God blessed him and renamed him Israel and founded a great nation upon him, which is not about the nation of Israel, it's about our human experience. We got to do the wrestling, we got to do the shadow work. We have to sit with that tension, that difficulty. And the more difficult it is, the better the fruit are born, which is what I ended up doing for 500 and some odd days, is dredging up every nasty, ugly, unfinished piece of business in me and my world and wrestling with it. And it's not fun, it's not pleasant, but I have evidence that bypassing doesn't work. I have a lot of evidence bypassing doesn't work. It's comforting, but it doesn't work. It's very ego-gratifying because I get to sound all holy, but it doesn't work. We're either going to go into the dark side to let the light in, or the light won't find its way in because we can't allow it because we're buttoned down, and at worst we project it. As Father Richard Rohr always talks about, that which we do not heal within ourselves, we will project upon someone without us. That's just what we're going to do. Which is like a real downer, right? You're going like, I came here to be uplifted. Now he's got to go dark side stuff. Well, yeah, but here's the part. I have to learn how. I do trauma breath work with people. It's like, that's just what happened. I had a traumatic response to my own words. Take a breath. What happens when the light gets in is the dark vanishes. Jung called it the transcendent function. We're in this tension, and if we sit with it long enough and work with it long enough, the same thing the philosopher Ken Wilber discovered is you're blessed with a transcendent function that looks like this. I was playing this with yesterday. It's like, it's almost like namaste going upward. And it can't happen unless we do that dark, ugly, dirty work. which means we have to admit that we have that happening in us, and then we have to do that work, and a lot of it has to be done in stillness. I had an experience of this years ago that I didn't understand the context of. I was on retreat in the mountains in New Mexico, and I got gobsmacked, and for about 40 minutes, I was just still as could be. I could hear people talking, but I was not present. And I heard the teacher say, somebody asked the teacher, "Is Ron okay? He doesn't look well." And the teacher said, "Oh, he's being worked with. He's being worked with, and he doesn't look well." Those were both true. And when I came out of it and I opened my eyes, all was well in the world. Something had been made right in me in the stillness. For those of you who studied Joel Goldsmith, that was the height of his healing practice. He'd get an envelope from someone in Australia. He was in the US, and he'd turn it upside down before he could even see what was on the front of it. He wouldn't open it, he wouldn't read the letter, and he would go into the stillness, and he would sit in the stillness until what he called the click came, and he knew that the healing work had been done, though he did not even know the person, didn't know where they lived, didn't know the nature of the malady. He didn't try to do anything with it. He let spirit flow. The more the darkness gets cleaned up, and I think that's what you were telling me, Christopher. Christopher was saying I seemed more present. I think what's happened is that this 610 days of stuff has cleaned some stuff out of me. I think there's a clearer channel now for things to happen. And Boyd was complimenting me on something. I said, "Yeah, but I've been taught to remember it's not me, it's something pours through me. To claim it is to flatten it. Me and my ego want credit." I'd ask you to raise your hands, but it would embarrass all of you. It is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom of heaven. It is not withheld, it is not unavailable, it's not someplace else. It is ever present, always, right here, right now, in this moment, in this day, in this year, amidst all this stuff. And our path is to the stillness in which the transcendence can arise. So I'll tell you one funny story, and then we'll meditate. I love to think about how this might have showed up in Jesus' practice, and I love to think about the stoning of the harlot. You got one side of the group clamoring to stone her and kill her because she's broken the covenants and all that, and others like, "No, forgive her, forgive her, forgive her." Right? So you hear the tension. And what does the master say? "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." That's this. And at that moment, I imagine both sides going, "Whoa, wait, Rabbi, what kind of an answer is that?" What kind of an answer is that? So if you'll close your eyes, we have to believe Jesus had a sense of humor. He's going like, "Yeah, dude, I snuck that one in on you, didn't I?" So close your eyes. Let's meditate for a few moments. I'm going to just gently offer a couple of thoughts. As affirmations. Thank you that heaven is here and now, in this day, this moment, this life. Thank you that the day itself is manna. And if you can, see if you can find that elevating place in stillness where everything drops away. that heaven is already present. We need do nothing. And a deep breath brings you back. Feel your feet.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Ron, what can I say but thank you so very much. So for those of you who may not have heard Ron speak in person, now you know why we ask him back again and again. So glad that you're home away from home, Ron. Welcome back. And it's good to know also that even when Reverend Paula is away, we have wonderful speakers to inspire us. Next week you're going to get more of that because Ann DeMichael will be up here, so that'll be something else. Well, it's our time in our service where we have that opportunity to give back. And we just want to let you know, the Board of Trustees, we watch the numbers. We're looking at everything of how things are running around here. We just want to say thank you from your Board of Trustees to you for your generosity, because we know that as we give, we're really giving back to ourselves here at Unity Renaissance. We're giving to this wonderful ministry. In fact, when Ron came in here today, he goes, wow, look at all the expansion. Everything looks big and open now. Yeah. Since COVID. We built it during COVID, Ron. That's what we did. But that's because of your generosity. You show up. You're not only present here on a Sunday, whether you're watching on Zoom or here in the sanctuary, but you show up. So I invite you once again to get into the flow because it feels so good, doesn't it? There are many ways to give to this wonderful ministry. You can have your bank send a check week to week. You can go to the app, the Unity Renaissance app. You can go to Tidely, and you can give a wonderful gift here to Unity Renaissance. But there's really one very fun way of giving, and that's when you text these numbers.
540-418-1228. Text now. Yeah.
We do have a basket at the back of the room, so for those of you like myself who still live in the 1950s or 60s, you can write out a check and drop it in the basket. That's okay, but whether you have a check or if you have money or just your iPhone, let's bless our gift today so that we can send it on its way. So together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I'm grateful.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Back in good measure, it's given back to you.
And at this moment, I'd like to welcome Aidan Hamilton to the dais.
Good morning. Good. So I've been coming here for just over 3 years. And the way I got here was my mom is friends with Amber McCullough, and I'm friends with Lee. And, well, you know, she told my mom about it, and, you know, it was interesting, so I decided to come. I remember it was a rainy day, and I think it was hot and humid. But I had my previous experiences from church before was that I came and I dressed up. So I kind of came with a polo shirt and jeans and nice shoes, and I didn't have expectations, but boy was I wrong with that. And as I came more and more, what I found more and more was that Unity gave me a certain amount of personal accountability, more so than other churches. It placed on me something that was much more individual, that I found that my connection with God was much more individual, and I could only find it. And that sole responsibility wasn't placed on the reverend, for example. Of course, you know, the reverend and all of our speakers and our wonderful music team, they all help with that. But ultimately, it was I who decided to make that and find my connection with God. Thank you. And I was the only one in control of it, so nothing else could ultimately decide it. So, and this transformed my experience with how I experience religion, and where it became an everyday opportunity that I practiced it, and not just Sundays. I could practice good thoughts and good deeds. I love Unity Principle number 3. That's my favorite. And it's God is not just a particular thing defined in church or a particular entity. God is. And just as much as God is, I am. And I don't have to find it only by coming to church, though it certainly helps. I can find it anywhere. Thank you.
Okay. Our future Unity minister. We're going to feature Aiden on this song by Bob Simon. It paints a world of heaven on earth and just asks us to raise the vibe. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's a shadow on the wall. There's a bomb about to fall. There's a knocking at the door, it's not so gentle anymore. And there's a bird about to fly, there's a herd on the run. It's beginning to be so clear they might know something that we don't. And there's a rising of the tide, there's an anger in the sky. There's a frequency vibration that cannot be denied. And there's a phone about to ring, it's a call we gotta take. It's a message from the future, it's a blast from the past, and it's calling out on you to light the fire, fan the flame. Do what you must, be still, be strong, be bold, be brave, and meditate. Go to your altar, it starts inside. Raise your hand, raise your heart, raise your voice, raise your thoughts, raise your vibe. Raise the vibe. Everything's gonna change for the better. It's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. We sang this song before, danced all over this floor. And the whisper we heard in the breeze, my friend, is turned into a roar to light your fire and fan your flame. Do what you must, be still, be strong, be bold, be brave, and meditate. Go to your altar, it starts inside. Raise your hands, raise your heart, raise your voice, raise your thoughts, raise your vibe. Raise the vibe, raise the vibe, raise the vibe. Every hand you touch, every eye you see, every breath you take, every word you speak, every truth will begin to rise, every lie will finally die, and the end will come to the fear and the shame. Everything will be called out by its name, and nothing hides and nothing slides when only love survives. Waking up from a dream. It's a light that's time has come. It's a shining, blinding star, and it's a Calvary of one. One heart, one mind, one love, one tribe, one voice, one world, all perfectly aligned. Every color, every kind, every flavor, it's time. Only hate will be denied. Not a single soul will ever be left behind. Raise the vibe. 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 Nicely done, y'all. Thank you.
Come on over, Boyd. Can we get this one on Terry? Luke, test, test, test.
Mine works.
I know. We got up early this
I just tested it.
Yeah, you're telling me part. Hey, quick question. Aiden, when? Okay, thank you. You're going to school too. We're quote unquote losing you for time being. When does that happen?
It happens
Okay, a week. So, boy, I don't know if we can lose Tyler and Aiden in the same month. Is that possible? But I guess it is. But thank you. And Richard, thank you for incorporating that great element in the music team. Having that acoustic guitar and that electric guitar has really added a very nice dimension. It's an already fabulous team, so thank you very much. We want to welcome those of you who are here at Unity Renaissance for the first, second, or third time. And since none of y'all are bashful, for those of you who are here for the first time, raise your hand and, give us the proper finger, 1, 2, or 3. If you're here for the first time, 1 finger. Second time, 2. Third time, 3 fingers. Now, the little gift bag that you're going to be, and if you don't mind keeping your hands up, again, we do have some salve in the bookstore you can get for free, so that it'll work on that muscle. But if you look inside that bag, there is a white card there, and that means that today you can go right in the bookstore and get yourself a free gift. So welcome, and we hope that you come back again and again. So let's go ahead and give some announcements here, Boyd. I think I'm up first today. Metaphysics Made Easy, that's our continuing class. It concludes this Wednesday. Dr. Paul Hasselbeck of Unity Village is joining that class, is running that class, and that will be on Zoom only. The last class is this Wednesday, August the 24th at 7 o'clock, between 7 and 8:30, $20 per class, which is the love offering we're asking for.
All right, we're continuing the sizzling summer Sundays in August. Today, the mighty men of unity, providing the cookout outside after the service. Next week, our newly reverended Ann DeMichael is giving the talk called Anything is Possible. And next Sunday, after her amazing talk, the music team and choir are going to be providing Watermelon for All, followed by a watermelon seed spitting contest. We'll see.
Hang on, boy. We already bought seedless watermelons.
Because
We're
they
gonna
knew
have
you
to think
better.
of something else
That's
to
why.
spit out.
Watermelon rind spitting no? Okay, all right.
On a much more serious note, actually, every once a month we have our Higher Consciousness Film Friday, first Friday of every month. This month, coming up in September, Cowspiracy, The Sustainability Secret, starts at 7 o'clock on Friday. And again, it's an eye-opening documentary on the food that we eat and the way we process our food. It's a critically important way to protect our environment, reducing animal agriculture. So each of us can make a difference. That's what this documentary is about. The great thing about our Film Fridays is that we have a wonderful discussion afterwards, in addition to the free water and popcorn that we'll have here in the sanctuary.
And September 4th, which is going to wrap up our sizzling summer Sundays in August, we're going to have a Labor Day weekend extravaganza. We're going to have vegetarian wraps and bowls, $5 each. And the entertainment will be provided by the music team,
Yes.
which I just found out about an hour ago. But I'm completely on board with. I'm cool with that. And then Splash Sunday for the kids, sponsored by the Youth Ed.
Wonderful. And last but not least, our last announcement is that today is Cookout Sunday. Yes, the Mighty Men of Unity. As you've heard already, we'll be serving up hot dogs and hamburgers, vegetarian options, all the fixings. It's free. Then at 1 o'clock, the inimitable Ron Chapman, the workshop you've all been waiting for over 2 years. Discover your infinite supply. And the suggested love offering is $35. No one will be turned away. And with that, let's go ahead and welcome in our kids.
Hold on, it goes like this.
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God.
Woo! Good morning, Unity! Woo! Talk about pep in the step of our youth ed classes. We have our kindergarten through first grade here, and Sydney, Ariana, and Sophia. Who would like to share?
We learn to be kind.
I fully express my Christ self.
And we have sharing from our elementary classroom, which consists of second grade through fifth grade. We have SB sharing.
Today we watched a video of the emperor's new clothes, and so the I forgot what it was called. I just remember what's. Deciding whether to go along with the crowd or express my own thoughts is not easy.
Our living truth today is, when I fully express my Christ self, I honor both myself and others.
Kindergarten through first. And who would like to represent the Uniteens? Just giving us a nugget of what you learned today. You can step right up. Step right up.
Today we went outside and buried unforgiveness.
Yo! Thank you, Julia. Thank you. And let me give this back to Mr. Christopher. But we do have a love offertory basket. All of our youth and who is going to be handing? Russell is going to hand that to you, Mr. Christopher.
So together, I want to put our energy and our love around this and say thank you, God, for all the blessings, all the abundance, for the liveliness, the life that comes from these wonderful children. It's this family. Say thank you, God. Better late than never, right? And with that, let's stand for our prayer for protection and our peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Look out.
1 o'clock with Ron Chapman.